Hello and welcome. My name is Dr. Michael Schaefer, and I am your instructor for the EDU 677 course. Now, for those of you who have already started to take a look at that, you may have seen last year's course listed because you know how the process works, that it gets loaded over and whatever. But anyway, I'm kind of doing a redo on a number of things in the course, and I think you'll like it. The purpose of this course is to serve as kind of a capstone. And the idea of a capstone being that kind of goes through all the things that you have covered in your process to become a principal or an assistant principal. And then it kind of pulls some special things out that you need to focus on a little bit more that you may not have gotten in another course. So that's what you're going to hear in this course. The whole purpose of the course is feedback. Now, it's kind of interesting because this is one of those few courses that is actually a pass or fail course. Um, for the record, the only way you can fail this course is if you really try hard to fail this course. And so that should not make you think, oh, wow, this is going to be easy. It's going to be a breeze. We got this going and don't have to worry about it. There's a lot of reading that I need you to do. You're going to do two book reviews. Notice I did not say book reports because this is not elementary school. And even though I was an elementary principal for 25 years, I even moved the students there away from doing book reports. So you're not going to do a book report. You're going to do a book review. And the reason you're going to do a review is because I want you to be able to gain some information that you might be able to use yourself as you are a leader, but also you might want to share that book with somebody else. And whether it's the faculty in your school or friends, you might want to say, hey, I read this book, it's really great. Or I read this book, and if you ever have the chance, don't waste your time. And that's kind of the process. So the first week, we're going to talk about stakeholder needs. That's kind of an interesting one. And recognizing that as a principal, you're going to have so many people pulling at you from all directions. And so that kind of is the focus. The second one is culturally responsive, equitable schools. Now, you guys all, I think all, live in Maine. I live in Indiana. Strangely enough, there's a big difference between those two places. Indiana is very much a red state. If I understand correctly, I think Maine is a blue state. But I will tell you that your governor has stood up for a lot of things in public education that are pretty important. And so I'm really impressed with that. I will tell you also, we don't have that in Indiana. It's a different world. But I am still a crusader for culturally responsive schools, responsible and equitable, because this is one of the big deals. We have a state here where I live and work where they despise public education. And they make it very clear that they do not like public education. The state has spent, by the end of 2027, they will have spent over $4 billion paying private religious schools so that kids can go there and not go to public schools. Big story. I might get to share that with you. One of the topics that we're going to be adding in here somewhere is looking at the concept of what happens when you get attacked politically. And as a leader, whether you're a leader in a private school or a public school, you still have to recognize there are political forces. And I always tell students, politics isn't bad, it just is. Politics is politics, and it's gonna happen. It's not gonna change no matter who's president, no matter who is governor, no matter who is your school board, you're gonna have politics. So it's a part of your life. You might say, well, I don't like politics. It doesn't really matter if you like it. You're going to have to live it. It's part of the job. So I'm going to say to you, there are some things that you can learn about how to be political without being political. Wow, that sounds like a mouthful. Um, I could almost run for office with that because I'm saying all the things that you want to hear. This is not political, but it is political. So pick your side, doesn't matter. Anyway, we're going to cover some other things. One of my favorite discussions that we're going to have is on wellness and life work balance. This is something that some generations do much better at. My generation, baby boomers, are horrible at work-life balance. And that still is true today, even though I work from home. I work too much. And so I'm going to tell you things that I think you need to know. And I will tell you also things that I still need to practice myself. We're going to talk about ethical leadership, planning for your first year as a principal, school finance. Now, I'm going to warn you ahead of time, nobody likes this section on school finance. I'm sorry, but it is. You have to know how to do it because I have this picture in my mind of a particular school district here in the state of Indiana named Vigo Community Schools. Doesn't sound like a big place. It's in southern Indiana. Here we call that almost Kentucky. Um, that about 6 years ago, all of a sudden, all these black SUVs came flooding into the parking lot, and people in suits and white shirts got out and went inside. And some of the people who worked in the central office left with them, and lots of computers left with them, and lots of other records, because the leadership in that district had fallen prey to what was really, really stupid, and they had done some incredibly dumb things with finance in giving out bribes and accepting bribes and all this kind of stuff. So when you talk about finance, we're going to look at finance from the perspective of you have to do it right to keep yourself out of trouble. Because if you don't, I'm going to tell you right now, there are a lot of things a state will forgive. They will not forgive so easily a finance problem. All right. So, and then that kind of pulls it all together. So, I hope you like the class. I hope you gain a lot from it. I hope it is valuable to you because at this point, to me, I think it's one of the most fun classes I've ever taught. I taught it a whole bunch of times for University of Southern Maine. That's not my full-time job. My full-time job is with another university. I'm the director of the EDS, which I don't think you guys really have an EDS program in Maine, educational specialist. It's tied to the superintendent's license. And so I'm the director of the EDS and doctoral programs here at Ball State. And um, this is not an encouragement or an advertisement whatsoever. I love teaching for the University of Southern Maine, and it has been a terrific partnership. This is about my fifth or sixth year, I think, teaching with Southern Maine, and I love the things that you guys do. I'm so impressed with the fact that whether it's summer or winter, it doesn't really matter. People are always outside, and that's way different from Indiana. Indiana, when it starts getting cold, first frost, everybody goes inside. You don't see them again until spring, and then it's too hot and nobody goes outside anyway. So it's kind of weird. All right, so at this point, welcome to the class. Glad to have you here. This is a class where I will give you a lot of feedback. So the important thing is that you do the assignments, complete the readings, but I'm going to also tell you the important thing is not the grade. The important thing is the feedback. The place that most people struggle in the feedback is when we do a discussion board, you are expected to post on that discussion board early in the week. And then when you post early in the week, then you come back several times. And so your responses need to be the first time that you post, where you're talking about your own things. Then you come back and you respond to somebody else. And if they respond to you, then you respond to them again. And it kind of keeps going. So what I'm looking for is a lot of involvement, a lot of talking back and forth, a lot of treating each other with respect. This is not like Facebook posts. So it's not like, hey, it's good to see you. I went to school with you as undergraduate, didn't know you were working on your master's, your principals, or whatever. Professional. It is completely professional. And so we're going to keep it that way and work hard to do it. If you notice in the syllabus, I talk a little bit about artificial intelligence. Now, look, we know it's there. We know that it's used a lot. We know that our students will be using it a lot. And it has become a thing at a lot of universities. And that thing is that too many students are saying, hey, I got this topic, this is what I'm supposed to do. I go to my AI, my source for AI, and then I'm just going to have them do the whole assignment, then I turn it in. Look, let me tell you, don't waste your time on that because you're here for the purpose of learning. You're spending a lot of money for this course. Don't waste your time by letting AI do your work for you. For one thing, I will notice because they still haven't learned to mimic individual people yet. They're getting better at that, but they're not quite there yet, so don't try it. I will notice. Are you allowed to look things up using AI? Absolutely. But don't you dare just copy a paragraph and put the whole thing in there from AI, because then I'm going to feel like, okay, that's wasting my time to grade it, it's wasting your time to post it, and the other people who will be reading it. So don't do that. Um, But on the other hand, I think it's also important that we learn how to use it. So there may be a section where we talk about AI. And so this class is kind of like the smorgasbord of everything, and you'll get all kinds of different stuff. And I hope it will be valuable to you. And I look forward to having you in the class. And I hope that we will spend a lot of time together. Thanks.